If you can just start by telling us how many bids have been received in this virtual data room, what is the nature of those bids, and how do you expect things to progress from here?
I'll be a little constrained in answering those questions because, as you know, this investment is being done by the Government of India and not by the management of Shipping Corporation of India Limited. And since I'm representing the management, I'll really not be able to give you those details since SCI is a listed company. However, yes, the data room has been opened and the data room is being managed by the transaction advisor of Government of India, led by Deepam. So the transaction advisor is coordinating the data room, and of course the entire data has been uploaded by Shipping Corporation of India Limited. But that's it. We are not involved at all in the data room process.
Okay, Harjeet, I appreciate your constraints, but I mean, is it possible, just possible, for you to tell us whether the interest is more from shipping companies or financial entities like PE? Even that you can't reveal?
Frankly speaking, all the information on the bidders is what I'm collecting from the media, because the names of the bidders have been kept confidential by the Government of India, and I am sure that's being reported by the press also. So whatever information is coming into the media is coming by whatever is being divulged by the bidders themselves. So neither has the Government of India made a statement on that, and frankly speaking, I'm not privy to the names of the bidders. So it's not as if I'm bluffing on that. That's a fact. I have no clue whatsoever officially on who the bidders are.
No, fair. I don't want to waste your time or, corner you. This is not your terrain, as you say. It is the owner's terrain, and that's the Government of India. Can you tell us this? You know, like we saw in the case of Concor and other companies where the government is divesting, they have some benefits from the government which they have to return, cheap leases. Is there any, favorable rents and things like that? Is there anything that you have to adjust in your balance sheet or your P&L?
No, Shipping Corporation of India has never taken any subsidy or any benefit or any support from Government of India. We are a totally independent board managed company, and there is nothing that we owe to the government as such, except for the tax litigation cases which are there, which is a part of the normal business process. But as such, no grants, no subsidies, no support whatsoever from the government. So there is nothing which we would need to repay to the government if this transaction goes through.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the business then, because in Q4, in the last quarter, the revenues were down almost 33%. What is the outlook now? What is the current fleet addition plans? And if you can give us a little bit on how the order book is shaping up?
We are, I'll tell you about the order book on two counts. One about the Shipping Corporation of India. Since that information is already in the public domain, we are in the process of adding on to our fleet. We are in active negotiations with the seller for acquisition of two LPG carriers. And if that fructifies, we should, before the end of the financial year, have added to our existing fleet of 59 vessels. Going by the order book globally, the tanker market is not doing well, and there isn't much of new orders. A lot of scrapping is expected to be seen because of the IMO guidelines with respect to the low carbon footprints, and these are going to kick in 2023 as well as in 2030. So ship owners will be preparing for this transition to the IMO guidelines. We see a lot of interest in the order book for the container market because the container market is in an all-time boom currently. Skyrocketing prices of freight in the container segment, shortage of vessels. In fact, all the container vessels have been chartered by all the leading liner companies for the next 5 years. In fact, there's no vessel in the market if you want to go out and in charter for a shorter period of say 1 year or 2 years. And the order book is also highly booked for 23 and onwards. So lot of activity on the liner front. The bulk is looking more or less stable with the economies having opened up, and of course bulk trade is always driven by China, as I say. So there is substantial stability in the bulk rates, and the bulk rates today are at an all-time high, reaching almost the rates of a decade back. So that's on the bulk front. The offshore segment is more or less just about nominal. I mean, the offshore segment doesn't really feature greatly into the economics of the shipping companies. So that's on the tanker. The tanker is, we hope it should look up in Q3. It's been on a negative earnings for the last 6 months almost.
Okay. Yeah, that it is. But, we hear of container shortages, we hear of trade picking up. Indian exports itself is doing very well since the last quarter. What is it? How does the year look ahead for your company? What is the unutilized capacity, if you please?
We are a very small segment into the liner trade. We've got 2 vessels which are currently into liner segment, and we are also into a slot sharing arrangement with MSC. So there is no unutilized capacity for us in the liner segment. In fact, we are doing very good business, and the earnings are also, in fact, the earnings are very, very handsome as of now in the liner trade. So there is no unutilized capacity. Container shortages are there, and it is anticipated that this trend is going to continue for some time more, partly driven by the COVID and also by the China and the US trade and the current blockages of the container in China and the implications because of the COVID. So we expect that this container shortage is going to continue, and the liner business is going to be robust for some time, at least for a year. We see things not normalizing.
You've been dragged down by tanker and liner, but then, as you say, it's a small percentage for you. So this year, you think FY22 you can do far better? I mean, you'll have done very well on the EBITDA level, but can it be an even better year, FY22?
Financial year 22 will be very good for all the liner companies. Like I've already said, the freight rates have skyrocketed. We've seen unprecedented increase in the freight rates. There have been several additional charges which are being levied by the liner company. And I informed you that for us, liner is a very small segment. It contributes about 18 to 20% to my total revenue. We are primarily a tanker and a bulk-driven company, which is constitutes about 78 to 80% of my fleet. So we are going to be impacted by the low tanker freight rates, negative earnings, which we hope will pick up in Q3, like I said before. But the liner trade has contributed to both the top line as well as the bottom line. So we should be relatively stable in this quarter, and we're going to be coming out with our results for the first quarter very soon next month.
Okay. Thank you very much, Harjeet Kaur, for joining us with all these details, and hope FY22 does turn out to be a very great year. I guess we will be speaking more in terms of divestment next time we meet.
Thank you.